Live from Joseph Mawhinney Field in Westborough, FATV presents coverage of Fitchburg High School Red Raider football. And this afternoon, it's going to be another interesting game of football here in this Fall 2 season as the Red Raiders of Fitchburg High take on the Rangers of Westborough High School. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Daniel Bolak calling this game from the Workers Credit Union studios at FATV. Happy to have you along with us here today. No mask today because I'm flying solo today. John Gugerty is on assignment. He's getting his second vaccine shot, and that's obviously a wonderful thing. I'll be joining him in the second vaccine group in a couple of weeks' time, but nonetheless, it'll be just me here today from the FATV studio. Hope you'll enjoy the coverage today that we will have as the Red Raiders come into this game with a 2-1 record, falling 44-7 last week to St. John's of Shrewsbury, looking to bounce back this week. And as for Westborough, they're coming off their first victory in the Joe Beveridge era, taking down Oakmont in a shootout last week at Mawhinney Field, 43-36. Red Raiders will be kicking off, going left to right in the first quarter of play in the road white uniforms, as it is booted in the air by Alexander McCloskey, taken in by the Rangers and brought up to the 32-yard line. The return there by Adam Steinberg, and that's where the Rangers will start on their first drive of the contest. Last week, as we mentioned, Westborough 43-36, led by a two-headed beast in the backfield, essentially. Kevin McCarthy is the quarterback for this Ranger squad. And we'll have our first penalty of the game. Offsides against the Raiders. And so a free 5 yards to start the contest for the Rangers on that. Last week there were some discipline problems for the Red Raiders as the game went on against St. John's. Finished with over 125 penalty yards, and they've gone and done it again. That time it was Sam Faulkner biting there. And Westborough gets a first down by doing absolutely nothing. So to the 42 it's going to go. And here's the first play from scrimmage. McCarthy will swing it out to the far side. Pulling that one in was Ashton Worstel, trying to get back to the line of scrimmage, as that came from behind the line of scrimmage. That pass came behind and ultimately was not able to get back there. It's a loss of a yard for Westborough on first down on the completion there. Westborough, as we mentioned, led by Kevin McCarthy, the quarterback. Ashton Worstel is also up there with the leading running backs there. McCarthy's run for 264 yards on the ground this season, Worstel for 166. And both of them had 3 touchdowns on the ground last week. McCarthy going to take it himself on second down, stumbles, loses his footing, falls to the ground. A big loss there. Colin Dudek was there for the Red Raiders, and McCarthy under pressure blows a tire. A big loss for the Rangers. Will bring up 3rd and long. See, just getting a piece there, and then as Jesse Ramos sticks in there, McCarthy tries to backpedal, loses his footing, and falls down at the 34-yard line. A loss of 7 yards on second down. 3rd and 18 it's going to be for Westborough, looking for positive yardage. 3 receivers to the left side for the Rangers. And McCarthy dropping way back, goes for the short dump-off pass, incomplete. And that's a blessing in disguise for Westborough. It would have been a loss of yardage had Worstel been able to come up with that. So the Red Raiders gift Westborough a first down, and then the defense makes up for it by completely demolishing Westborough's ideas of a successful drive to open this contest. So we'll get our first punt of the contest. I'd expect Cam Erickson to be the one doing that, but he's rolling out here, and eventually it is punted away. Out of bounds it'll go, doesn't even get to midfield. Didn't get a good look who actually was the punter. There might have actually been Adam Steinberg there who punted it away. And didn't get it tremendously far, so the Red Raiders are going to start with the ball in Ranger territory. So 10:03 to go in the first quarter of play. The Red Raiders will have their first drive of the contest. Might have been a penalty at the end as well. That brings the ball to the 39-yard line. That's where the Red Raiders will start this drive. First play from scrimmage. Moving his way upfield is Devin Barisano. Up to the right hash, makes it to the 31-yard line. So on first down, you see the run up the middle there by Barisano. Just able to move his way up, break a couple of tackles. And they'll spot it on the right side-ish. About 2 minutes gone here. 8-yard run on first down to start. So 2nd and 2. Be Barisano again. Pushing his way up the middle, churning his feet, moving forward. It'll be a first down for the Red Raiders. Some good run blocking there by Jaden Velasquez to help open up the hole there. An 11-yard gain for Barisano and a first down for the Red Raiders. Moving his feet forward. He was eventually wrapped up there by Ethan Steinberg. To the 20-yard line it goes, under 9 minutes to go in the first quarter of play. No score. Westborough went nothing but backwards on their 3 plays on their first drive of the contest. Fitchburg going nothing but forwards right now. Play action, Graham gonna throw over the middle, incomplete. Was looking for Donovan DeLeon, but wrapped up there by Declan Van Nest, highest numbered Ranger, number 88. Wrapped him up cleanly as well. Good idea to try going over the air on first down. After a couple of runs to start the contest, Anthony Aquendo in the backfield. He's changed the cleats up. He had those yellow gloves and yellow cleats in previous weeks, but this time going with a little more conventional look. 2 in motion. Darnell Thomas goes to the left side, so does Colin Dudek to try to shore up the left side, and that didn't work at all. And you can see basically the 3 offensive leaders for the Rangers making good work on defense there. Adam Steinberg, Kevin McCarthy, and Ashton Worstel all blowing through the left side of the line. Give the tackle there to Steinberg because I think Worstel and McCarthy tackled each other. It's a loss of 6 yards though, which the Rangers will like to see. To the 26-yard line, 3rd down. And 16 to go. They've got to get to the 10-yard line for a fresh set of downs. Barisano in motion to the right as Graham's got time. Going to throw it up over the middle, through the hands of Darnell Thomas and incomplete. And he knows he should have had a touchdown there. So it brings up a 4th and 16 here. You are way too deep into Ranger territory to punt, so you've got to go for it. Unless you think that Alexander McCloskey can hit a 43-yard field goal. We did see St. John's try from 50 from Sam LaValle last week, and he missed by about 5 yards. But not going to take the chance with McCloskey's leg. It will be 4th and 16 for the Red Raiders. 2 receivers to the right. They'll put Barisano in motion out there. Graham's got time. He wants to throw all day. Left-hand throw. That is caught! Xavier McCary! Touchdown, Red Raiders! A throw over the middle. Plenty of time for the Red Raiders. And that time, McCary wide open. That's just well done there by the line to hold things up. And McCary wide, focused open. The two backs there, and Van Nest and Rodriguez Felix, looking at each other, wondering whose man was that supposed to be? Doesn't matter. It's 6 points on the board for the Red Raiders. Here's the extra point attempt by McCloskey. And that is good. 7:35 to go in the first quarter of play. It's the Red Raiders 7 and the Rangers 0. The Raiders able to make it 39 yards downfield. And well developed there. Converting on that 4th and 16, going right back to the end zone. And I know last week against St. John's, the Red Raiders wanted to try going through the air a little more, feeling they could exploit a weakness in St. John's by doing so. And although they got early dividends out of it, it didn't work as the game went on. I know Westborough, one of the things, as I was reading up and doing my research, is Joe Beveridge saying that he's aware that his team is a bit undersized. They have 30 players on their varsity roster. They've split up their roster so that their varsity is just juniors and seniors, and their junior varsity is just freshmen and sophomores. They have 30 juniors and seniors that make up the varsity roster, 25 freshmen and sophomores that make up the JV roster. They also listed heights and weights on their rosters, and of the 30 varsity players that they have, only 5 of them are over 215 pounds. So size is not exactly something that they have, and they are aware of that. And the goal is to try to overcome those obstacles with size and try to use their skills to make their way downfield. And obviously, the defense last week had a bit of challenge against Oakmont, giving up 36, but it's okay when you score 43. Booted all the way to the 10-yard line by McCloskey. Worstel will try to carry this one up on the far side hashes. He'll bring it to the 27-yard line. The 50-yard kickoff by McCloskey, a 17-yard return for Ashton Worstel, the senior running back and linebacker for the Rangers. And we'll see what Westborough can do on their second drive of the contest. About 7:30 to go in the first quarter of play. 7-0 the Raiders in front. And the Raiders jumping there, but that was because a Ranger jumped first. False start against Westborough. The first drive for Westborough started with back-to-back penalties. Those were both against Fitchburg. Biting for the hard count and jumping the line. This time they did that again, but this time it was because somebody else for Westborough had jumped first. So 1st and 15, McCarthy gonna run with it all day. Out to the numbers, and it'll be tackled around the 18-yard line on the near side. It goes to the 24-yard line. See if I can get my numbers right there. A 2-yard gain for the senior quarterback. Last year he was a running back for the Rangers. And in last year's meeting between Fitchburg and Westborough, McCarthy ran with it 25 times for 154 yards and 2 touchdowns. Go under 7 minutes to go in the first quarter of play. 7-0 Red Raiders. Throw on the far side is complete for Van Ness, staying on his feet, bouncing off tackles. Close to the line to gain as he makes it to the 36. A 12-yard gain on second down. Not quite enough for a first down. That guy with the stick probably a bit green to the job. And Fitchburg is going to call a timeout. That guy with the stick's got to hold on to it, stay where he is. Now they're moving the sticks as if they are going to award the first down. They changed where the spot was going to be, and now they've decided that was in fact good enough. All right, so he can very much move his stick now. doing something like that, making me blame him for doing something wrong when he was in the right the whole time. Under 7 to go, first quarter of play. It's Fitchburg 7 and Westborough 0, as Westborough starting to make progress on this drive downfield. Each team with 3 timeouts. That's down from 5 from a couple of years ago, back when the MIAA used the FHS rulebook. Back when they used the NCAA rulebook, they switched to the FHS rulebook in 2019. So this is the second season that they've been using that rulebook. And I could tell in the games that I've been watching, there have been a little bit of still trying to adjust to it. Not everybody is used to that rulebook, so sometimes there are infractions that are enforced in such a manner that you're not expecting something like that. Like during the Grafton game, there were 2 face mask penalties that I was a bit surprised didn't go for as much yardage as I thought, because both times they called a 5-yard face mask, which is still in the Federation rulebook, but has long since been removed from the NCAA and NFL rulebooks. All face masks at those levels of play, 15 yards all the time. Westborough with their first down of the contest. 6:35 to go, and there's the delayed handoff there to Worstel, pitched out there to the near side, makes his way to the 38-yard line. A lot of parallel running will lead to a gain of just about 1 yard. Mark him at the 38. So a gain of 1 yard for Worstel. It'll bring up a 2nd and 9 for Westborough. Now at 5:45 to go in the first quarter of play. A lot of players moving there. And that's going to be a false start. I think a couple players confused about the play call and the way that they're all moving in motion. I'm not sure what code of football that's legal in, to have that many players on the line moving like that. And the ball was never snapped, but I think the right side of the line thought it had been, and yeah. That's a bit messy. -5 yards for Westborough. Each team on 2 penalties for 10 yards. A lot of bunch receivers on the right side of the line, and a flag here as McCarthy runs up the middle, but flags in the NFHS, if they let the play continue, it's probably going against Westborough, because if it was offsides, they would not let them continue. And they call the false start. Illegal motion, but they... And that was an option play as McCarthy rips it out of the hands of Worstel, runs with it himself. So that was a procedure penalty. And they let the play continue. So they'll take the result of the run instead. So McCarthy will get to keep his gain to the 40-yard line. The Raiders take the down. And there's someone jumping the line again. This time it's Fitchburg, the guilty party. They'll bring the ball to the 45-yard line. Be our 5th accepted penalty of the contest. As strategically the procedure that we just saw went unpunished. Under 4.5 to go in the first quarter of play. Fitchburg leading 7-0. All of the play thus far has been on the right side of the field. Almost a jump there. McCarthy, low snap, trying to recover it and trying to salvage something out of this and he's not going to be able to do much with it. And Torin Canales-McLevy loses his helmet, so he'll have to sit out on 4th down. And just a really poor snap there. A Raider jumped, the nose guard there, jumped on the line, but not far enough to get into the neutral zone. And so McCarthy able to bring it to the 43-yard line. That's a loss of 2. 3rd, so it brings up a 4th and 4 now. And the Rangers want to go for it here. They must get to the 47 for a 1st down. They might also be trying to get the Raiders to jump. I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get them to jump because they've already done it 3 times in this game. And they were unable to get the Raiders to jump, so that'll be delay. So lots of penalties in the early going of this contest, but pretty much all of them warranted. Got no complaints out of me thus far. Adam Steinberg with his 2nd punt of the day coming. Barisano back to return for the Red Raiders. Steinberg's last punt was very bad. He'll be looking for a lot of improvement on this one. As we mentioned, we have yet to see, the only time the ball has been on the camera side, left side of the field, has been when McCloskey has kicked the ball off the tee, both to start the game and after the Red Raider touchdown. And Westborough's going to call a timeout here. So 1:57 to go in the 1st quarter of play. The Red Raiders leading by a score of 7-0. While we have a moment, I'd like to take a moment to talk about the Crocker Field Restoration Committee. An historic Crocker Field, recognized for its beauty and listed on the National Register of Historical Places. Located in the heart of the community and built in 1918, this central Massachusetts field has a fabled history in the hearts of Fitchburg High School alumni and a magnificent future in the Fitchburg community. Be part of the restoration and donate today. Learn how you can help the Crocker Field Restoration Committee online at crockerfield.org. Donations can be sent to Crocker Field Restoration, 140 Arnhow Farm Road, Fitchburg, Mass. 01420. Don't forget, all donations are tax deductible. And while we also have a moment, we'd like to thank a couple of the underwriters that make all of our remote broadcasts possible, those being Workers Credit Union, Rollstone Bank and Trust, and UMass Memorial Health Alliance Clinton Hospital. And to thank our crew working this game today. Nate Glennie is our camera operator on site at Mawhinney Field in Westborough. Travis Falk and Matt Murdoka are in the control room here today. And here I am in the Workers Credit Union studios at FATV. Daniel Bolak here with you, bringing you the coverage of this contest between Westborough and Fitchburg. The Red Raiders 2-1 coming into today, and Westborough 1-2. Fitchburg opening with 2 wins in a row, Westborough with 2 losses in a row. They lost to Tantascwa and Oakmont before taking down, Tantascwa and Neshoba they lost to. Then they took down Oakmont. Fitchburg opening with wins against Hingham and Grafton in overtime before falling to St. John's last week in Shrewsbury. Now after all of the delays, Steinberg with the rollout punt will drive it downfield. It will stay in play, and on a couple hops, Barisano will field it at the 29-yard line before blowing a tire around the 37. So the Raiders will have it. Under 2 minutes to go in the 1st quarter of play, their 2nd drive of the contest. They lead 7-0 and look to build on that. Steinberg's punt goes for 33 yards. Barisano's return for 8. Raiders really stacking the line here on first down. Looking run all the way, you have to imagine. It is very much going to be a run, but Barisano stays on his feet, shook out of those tackles, making his way down the far side of the field, the 30, the 20, one tackle to shake off. They will do just that. Touchdown, Red Raiders. How did Barisano escape? He takes it 62 yards. +1, 63 yards for Devin Barisano to make it a 13-0 game. Look at this again. Driving up the middle, just bouncing off the tackles. They couldn't take him down. And out to the far side, it became a track meet. Thaddeus Rodriguez-Felix was the last man to try to stop Barisano. He could not do it. And he makes it all the way down to the land of 6. He would not be denied. Extra point by McCloskey is good. Minute and a half to go in the first quarter of play. The Red Raiders lead 14-0. A 63-yard touchdown run by Devin Barisano. That teaches to the skills of just not giving up on a play. You know, the play was pretty obviously just drive through the middle of the line. That was the plan all along. But then not seeing any openings there, took a step back, was able to spin and bounce his way out to the far side. Lots of space there as everyone was selling out for the run. And he was able to dance past the Ranger defense and make his way all the way downfield for the touchdown. 14-0 to the Red Raiders. 102 yards of offense. Last year when these two teams met, it was Westborough who dominated the first half, outscoring the Raiders 14-0 in the first half. If I recall, the Raiders had less than 50 yards of offense in the first half. Devin Barisano got 63 yards on that one run. McCloskey will boot it away. Taken in at the 13-yard line. This is Worstel going out to the far side to the numbers. Still staying on his feet and able to get it just short of the 35-yard line. 34-yard line, they'll mark it. 47-yard kickoff by McCloskey, 21-yard return by Worstel, and solid field position for the Rangers as they try to get back into this contest. Trailing 14-0. A little over a minute to go in the first quarter of play. As it stands right now, Westborough has gained 13 yards of offense in their own right, and Fitchburg has gifted them 15 yards through penalties. It's not a sustainable recipe for success. It's going to be a double handoff there on the double reverse end around. Ashton Worstel trying to get back to the line of scrimmage, moving his way forward, trying to get to the 40-yard line now. It'll be a gain of a few yards, but not much more than that. A lot of misdirection attempted there by Westborough, and not a lot of results. Look at it again as they brought Ethan Steinberg in motion. Took the handoff, flipped it back to Worstel. And wrapped up there. You can see that Raider wrapping his hands around, knocking him down. If only my eyesight was a little better, I could get you a better idea who that was. About 30 seconds to go in the first quarter. McCarthy will throw. That hops on the ground, is incomplete for Van Nest. We'll see as they stack the line to the left. McCarthy just tries to go to the right this time. It looked like Van Nest briefly was able to get a handle on it, but just wasn't able to corral it. Fell right out of his hands, and onto the ground it goes. Westborough for 2 on 3rd down. They've got to get to the 44-yard line for a first. 3 receivers bunched up to the right side for the Rangers. McCarthy will throw to the one on the left. He finds Van Nest. I think they'll mark him at the 43. That's not quite good enough for a first. So a gain of 6. McCarthy now 3 of 5 through the air for just 18 yards. And we've reached 1/4 time at Mawhinney Field in Westborough, where the Red Raiders have scored on both their drives to take a 14-0 lead. Take another moment to thank some more of our underwriters. Those include North End Subaru, Unitil, and Research Results. I would like to remind you that FATV is your local access television station. If you live, work, go to school, or are a member of a Fitchburg organization, you can become an FATV member. Membership brings you many benefits and gives you access to all of FATV's equipment, cameras, audio and lighting equipment, editing suites, studios, and much more. We offer technical training classes to teach you how to create your own program. You can reserve channel time to broadcast your program to the community and beyond. Visit FATV.org for more details and start producing your own show today. So 1/4 complete at Mawhinney Field, where Fitchburg leads by a score of 14-0. Here I am again, Daniel Bolak with you here from the Workers Credit Union Studios at FATV. John Krugerty on assignment. So it's just me here in the studio today, socially distanced very much so. I think Travis and Matt are about, 30 feet in a wall away from me. So it's okay to go without the mask today. It's still always good to have it. And Westborough will finally get a play from this side of the field on our left. All of their plays from scrimmage have been in their own half of territory. They've got McCarthy ready in the shotgun formation. They are going to go for it on 4th down. And I think that's the right thing to do, especially with how much they've been struggling offensively. And they were able to draw the Raiders off. So that will give Westborough that 1st down that they sorely needed. We mentioned so many times that last year this was a huge issue for the Red Raiders. That they weren't able to get, that they were so often jumping off sides. And that's one thing Westborough's got going for them, is they've done a great job in drawing the Raiders off. But now McCarthy under a lot of pressure here, gets the throw off to the near side. He's looking for Van Nest. It's incomplete. A lot of pressure here. You can see that one Raider in pursuit again. My eyesight wishing it was a little better, me being able to read that number. I think it was Angel Alejandro who was in pursuit of McCarthy, pressuring him from behind. So it'll be 2nd down. And misdirection on that one as McCarthy fakes the throw, hands off to Worstel, plows up the middle. We'll bring up a 3rd down at the 38-yard line. Very confused about the spot of the chains there. now McCarthy will take it, will get the first down nonetheless. Yeah, run up the middle for the first down for McCarthy, gets to the 40. I'll be confused about the chains when I go and type things into my score sheet a bit wrong. But to the 41-yard line, McCarthy makes it. He needed 2. He needed 1, he got 2. That's a first down. And now Westborough with their first substantial drive of the contest. Worstel taking it to the far side to the numbers. And he'll be wrapped up there by 3 Red Raiders. Charge being led there by Alex Rojas. But a solid gain for Westborough, making it inside the Raider 30-yard line. Worstel just getting to the flank there. And making his way around. 9:52 to go in the second quarter of play. 14-0 Red Raiders in front, but Westborough driving and making their way downfield 29 yards from goal. First and 10. On the 12-yard gain from Worstel, up to 25 yards on the ground today. The option play there, and ultimately they'll give it to Worstel. Let him get to the far sideline. He's got the first down, trying to juke past Anthony Aquendo. Ultimately, will just drive into him, but it'll be taken down at the 7-yard line. It'll be first and goal for Westborough. Another first down gained by the Rangers. Just holding out as long as he could, McCarthy did ultimately let Worstel run with it. And he found a lot of space on that far sideline. So they give him the 7-yard line. A 22-yard run, now 47 yards on the ground for the senior running back in Ashton Worstel. And it's goal to go for Westborough, looking to get on the board. Another option play. Balls come loose. And it looks like the Raiders have come up with it. Chris Garcia is the man running off the field with the football. And you could see there, just trying to hold on as long as he could, and then the Red Raider getting in there. And Jesus Padilla, I believe it was, he was able to dislodge it. The ball flies forward uncontrollably out of the hands of McCarthy and Worstel, and ultimately into the hands of Chris Garcia. And the Red Raiders will have the ball, not with the greatest field position, but they've got the ball at their own 2-yard line. And a run up the middle by Aquendo. Making his way to the near side. Aquendo's got space to run at the 30, 40, 50, still going, 40, 30, and taken down at the Westborough 25-yard line. 73 yards on the ground. It's just incredible what the Red Raiders did right just now. Aquendo finds a big gap to run through, makes it to the numbers on the near side. Just making his way downfield, keeps looking back because he knows there's 2 players breathing down his neck. But Anthony Aquendo right there, incredible. Give him the 27-yard line. So it'll be a 71-yard run at the end. Arpano into the game for the Red Raiders. Will throw it out to the far side for Montgomery Graham. He'll be wrestled out of bounds just past the 20-yard line. Changing things up a little bit there. Arpano with the pass. Graham able to pull that one in. That's Arpano's first completion of the season. So that was good enough for a first down, ultimately gave him the 19. And now this is Graham on the ground up the middle. Maybe he had the 14. Maybe I've misread my numbers again. That time, Graham with the keeper. Yeah, they gave him the 14 on that last one. So yeah, I'm doing a great job keeping track of the lines. But inside the 10 goes Graham. On second down, this is Barisano going all the way to the left sideline. Wrestled down there by Worstel and Josh Bebko. Have a look again as Arpano with the handoff that time. It's going to be first and goal now for the Red Raiders. And this time, a bit of trickeration going on there. What was that? Low snap, and it's recovered by Ethan Steinberg. That brings an end to the drive right there. Snapped on the ground, and Jesus Padilla was taking the snap as well. And just had trouble getting a hold of it. Strange times there to end the drive for the Red Raiders. .6:04 to go in the second quarter of play. And now both teams losing a great drive inside their opponent's 10 due to a fumble. So Westborough has it first and 10 from their own 13-yard line on the end around. Worstel trying to make his way upfield, trying to bounce off a couple of tackles there. A lot of pressure for the Red Raiders and not much room to go. Barisano gets credit for the tackle. He tries to cut inside. Barisano disengages with his man to wrap up Worstel as he tries to gain as much as he can. They give him 3 yards. 2nd and 7 now for Westborough. 3 receivers to the left side. McCarthy 3 of 6 through the air. They'll move 1 as they'll go with the handoff, the safe option to Worstel. It wasn't safe at all. Alejandro with the tackle behind for a loss. The Steinberg win in motion. Ultimately going to Worstel instead, but Alejandro with those yellow mitts able to wrap up his legs and get him stumbling to the ground. And Worstel ultimately a bit slow to get up. He's being worked on the side, on the 15-yard line there by the training staff. And he'll come off the field. Trying to test out the feet. Bit of a hop and a skip there. Take at least a play off. We'll see if he comes back into the contest. In any case, hope he's all right. It'll be 3rd and 9 now for Westborough. They've got to get to the 23-yard line for a first. As both teams in this second quarter have had drives deep into opposition territory, but fumbled their opportunities away to score. 3rd and 9. As McCarthy go back, and backwards he goes. The tackle just short of the goal line there. Wrapped up by Jesus Padilla. But one back there, and Adam Steinberg trying to work as a blocker, but he was badly beat. And Padilla able to wrap up McCarthy for a big loss. They'll give him the 2-yard line. Now Steinberg has to be careful as he's right up against the goal line. That's on the ground. He's able to pick it up and boot it away. This isn't going to go terribly far. It'll be picked up by Barisano at the 37 as he makes his way to the far side. And Ethan Steinberg able to force him out of bounds at the 22-yard line. So now the Red Raiders with excellent field position, 22 yards from goal. They're going to call a block in the back against the Red Raiders.
It's only 10 out there. It's only 10 out there.
So the 34-yard line it's going to go. We'll have a whistle. 4:03 to go in the first half of play. And Westborough called timeout there. So 14-0 Red Raiders in front over Westborough. With about 4 minutes to go in the first half of play. The Raiders just under 200 yards of offense on the day. And Montgomery Graham 1 for 3 for 26 yards through the air and a touchdown. Philip Arpano has 13-yard completion to Graham as well. Devin Barisano 4 carries for 88 yards and a touchdown. Oquendo had that 71-yard carry as well. And the Raiders were backed up inside their own 5-yard line. They had the ball at the 2. But then he was able to break free for 71 yards. It's an incredible run for the Red Raiders. So 14-0 as it goes right now. Westborough has 16 plays for 56 yards of offense. Kevin McCarthy, 18 yards through the air and 3 of 6. Ashton Worstel, 7 carries for 48 yards. As here is Oquendo, making his way to the near side. He's got space, he's got time, he's got a touchdown! Or he would have a touchdown if there wasn't a penalty. Oquendo took the handoff on first down, made his way to the near side of the field. You could see, I believe, a hold there by one of the lead blockers. So I don't think all of this is coming back, but some of it very much is. So since it's a 10-yard penalty from the spot, he'll bring the ball to the 32-yard line. So Quendo will get to keep some of those yards. He's just not going to get to keep all of them. He'll get 12. Now Quendo making his way to the far side this time. Push him out of bounds at about the 25-yard line is what the side referee will give. So 7-yard gain for Quendo will bring up a 2nd and 2. Move Graham in motion as the high snap there to Arpano. He's able to pull it down, give it to Barisano. He's not going to be able to get much out of that. There'll be a loss of a yard. But 2:40 to go in the first half of play. 14-0 Red Raiders. 3rd and 3 for the red and gray. And a penalty's going to come here. Offside against Westborough will give the Red Raiders a first down. To see the jump there at the very end. Raiders will happily take the first down on what will be the 10th accepted penalty of the contest. Over 2 minutes to go in the first half. Arpano sends a man in motion. Tries to take some time. Is able to shake off a tackle. Throws to the end zone. And just incomplete looking for Monty Graham. It's interesting how the Raiders have been switching up using Graham as a quarterback and Graham as a receiver with Arpano throwing to him. And Quendo doing some great blocking there to prevent what would have been a sack and give Arpano a chance to throw the ball. 2nd down and 10. 21 yards from goal. A quick handoff there. Barisano making his way to the corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Red Raiders. Barisano will have his 2nd rushing touchdown in the contest, and the Raiders take a 20-0 lead. You can see Quendo working as the blocker there, able to knock down the last man to beat in Ethan Steinberg. 20-0, the Red Raiders in front. Taking out their frustrations on the Rangers from last week after losing 44-7 to St. John's. Fitchburg trying to show everyone that's not who they are. This is who they are. Extra point by Alex McCloskey is good. 1:44 to go in the first half of play. The Red Raiders lead 21-0. And while we have a moment, I'd like to thank a few more of our underwriters who make our remote broadcasts possible. Those include Minuteman Press, Mart, and the Sentinel and Enterprise. We thank our underwriters for all the support they give us to help make these and all of our remote productions possible. Nate Glennie on site at Mawhinney Field in Westborough, Matt Murdoka and Travis Falk in the control room here at the Workers Credit Union Studios on Kimball Street in Fitchburg here at FATV. Daniel Bolak with you. 21-0, the Red Raiders in front.
Back to return for Westborough's number 1, Alan Steinberg, and number 7, Ashton Worstel.
Worstel is back to return for Westborough, so it's good to see he's okay. Bit of miscommunication on the run-up. get it taken in at around the 18-yard line. And just a run up the middle to the 30. Steinberg with the return that time for the Rangers. So a little over a minute and a half to work with. Westborough trailing by 21 points. And to make matters worse, Fitchburg chose to defer. So the Raiders are set to start with the ball to start the second half. The return to the 35-yard line as it went. And Westborough just trying to respond back here. Another double reverse. It's going to be a throw over the middle, incomplete, and there was a flag. A double handoff in Steinberg trying to throw to McCarthy. Barisano breaking it up in the end, and a penalty pending here. It was a defensive hold.
Holding penalty called against Pittsburgh. 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down for the Rangers.
So they'll push the marker to the 45-yard line. As the Raiders now reach 50 yards of penalties today. Interesting how that all developed. But Westborough will happily take it. A little over a minute to go in the first half. Looking for a score. As they trail 21-0. Throw over the middle is complete to Ethan Steinberg. And he'll make his way into Raider territory. Down at the 44-yard line. In Fitchburg territory it goes. McCarthy able to make his way back through over the middle, and plenty of space for Steinberg to pull that one in. 60 seconds to go in the first half of play. And there's a blitz there, a couple driving out there, and Worstall able to stay on his feet and dance his way down the numbers on the far side to the 34-yard line. Well done for McCarthy, backing up with two players pressuring there, and Jesus Padilla and Sam Faulkner able to get that throw off to Worstall, and he was just able to keep his balance, stay on his feet, and get big yardage there. We have a timeout on the field. 43 seconds to go in the first half of play. And Westborough trying to break this shutout. They trail 21-0. I imagine that was Westborough calling their last time out there. So 43 seconds to go in the frame. Westborough 0, Fitchburg 21. Fitchburg with well over 200 yards of offense in today's contest. Westborough now up to 77 yards of offense. Also, while I have a moment, I'd like to mention St. Bernard's, now 5-0 on the season. They won earlier today over West Boylston in a battle of 4-0 teams, 42-19. The two-time defending Division 8 state champions in St. Bernard's, passing a very tough test against a strong West Boylston team today. As McCarthy going for the home run pass. deep into the end zone. DPI is going to be called there. Well, the ball was badly overthrown, but perhaps because of the DPI, I think Van Nest is who they wanted. Have a look at it again. Look for that home run pass, and the one defender back there, and Richard Santana had a handful of jersey. So they'll walk this off now. All the way to the 19 it goes, 35 seconds to go. It's McCarthy rolling with time. Steps up, throws, incomplete. Too much oomph on that pass.
Second down and 10.
So about 30 seconds to go in the second quarter. Westborough trying to make their way downfield. Trailing 21-0. These two teams have played each of the last 4 seasons. Fitchburg won in overtime 29-27 last year. Before that, though, the 3 previous years were all victories for Westborough. Now this is McCarthy. A quick dump off throw, incomplete, wanted Worstel, and he could not hold on to the football.
McCarthy's pass is incomplete. Number 7,
Have a look at the replay again as McCarthy rolling to his right, rolling and rolling. Eventually plants his feet. And a great break up there by Garcia. 18.6 on the clock. It's now third down. Ten to go, need to get to the 9 for a first, but they look like 19 for 6. Another deep home run pass, and Van Nest can't haul it in.
McCarthy's pass is incomplete. Intended for number 88, Declan Van Nest. 4th down and 10.
So, with time, a deep throw. Van Nest can't haul it in. Now they're looking at a field goal here. With 11 seconds to go in the frame. Cam Erickson going to try from the left hash. A 36-yard field goal. He's got a lot of leg on that one, and it is good. Well booted there by the senior. And Westborough on the board with 5 seconds to go in the first half, 21-3. Might have actually been Ethan Steinberg who kicked that. It looked like a 2-digit number, and Erickson's number 2. But well struck nonetheless. So Westborough set to kick off here with just a few seconds to go in the first half of play. They are on the scoreboard with a field goal.
Kicking off for Westborough is number 23, Cameron Anderson. Back to return for Pittsburgh is number 3, Miguel Torres. And number 4, Devon Garcia.
And so that one, that was a weird one.
halftime score is the Pittsburgh Red Raiders 21. And your Westborough
Looking
Rangers
down at the absolute worst moment, tried to peg the up man there. And Jared Phillips, but he was able to jump right on top of the football. And that rolls the final few seconds off the clock and brings us to halftime, where the score is Westborough 3 and Fitchburg 21. The Red Raiders just showing absolute dominance in the first half of play. 236 yards of offense. Anthony Aquendo with 90 yards on the ground. Devin Barasano with 108 on the ground. Meanwhile, for Westborough, can't forget Xavier McCare's 26-yard touchdown catch as well. For Westborough, Kevin McCarthy 5 of 11 for 39 yards. Also 6 carries for negative yardage. He's been wrapped up in the backfield a few times. Ashton Worstel, 7 carries for 48 yards, also a couple catches for 9. Declan Van Nest with a couple of catches for 19 yards. But other than that, though, Westborough has struggled to get things going on the ground. 77 yards of offense. They have been taking advantage of some Red Raider miscues, as the Raiders have been called for 8 of the 12 accepted penalties for 65 yards, while Westborough just 4 penalties for 20 yards. Something the Raiders are going to need to work on. So we're going to take a break. We're going to let the band perform for you, and we'll be back after their performance with the second half of action from Mawhinney Field in Westborough. This is Red Raider football on FATV.
once again, as a reminder, please practice social distancing while inside the stadium. And please make sure your fan lanyards are visible for Westborough staff. Thank you.
Getting ready to start the third quarter of play from Joseph Mawhinney Field at Westborough High School. Daniel Bolak here with you from the Workers Credit Union Studios in Fitchburg. Cam Erickson set to kick off. We've since realized that Erickson has swapped numbers with Ethan Steinberg, and he's wearing 23 today as he puts this one on the ground, taken by an up man at the 30-yard line, trying to move his way upfield. Jake Mai able to take it to the 35-yard line, give him the 36. That's where the Red Raiders will begin their first drive of the second half. The 37. I will be striving to do better at identifying what line they'll actually put the ball on. First play of the second half for the Red Raiders. Graham takes the snap, hands off to Barisano. Tries to find a hole on the far side, still staying on his feet, turning and churning his way, but ultimately he's only able to gain 1 yard. It was similar to how he scored that long touchdown run in the first half of play, where he tried to go up the middle at first, and then he turned away. Broke away from the pile in the middle of the line and found a lot of space on the far side where he's able to break downfield for big yardage. That was a 63-yard touchdown run, as that one fumbled for a moment by Graham, knocked it up in the air, able to keep a hold on it. Got the ball forward to about the 39-yard line, but a flag was thrown, and that's going to be a hold. Although it will lead to a question of whether or not Westborough will actually want the holding penalty, because he only got about a yard on it. They will enforce it. So I'll march the Red Raiders back to the 28-yard line. They'll bring up 2nd and 19. Second and long, Graham looking to his left. Now he's got a run. But Ashton Worsel's able to catch him from behind and take him down for a loss. And a flag comes in at the very end. Goes in the books for a moment as a 6-yard loss, but we got to see what this penalty flag is that came in at the very end of the play. Worsel just unmarked on the on the near side, able to run around the line. Looks like unsportsmanlike conduct. And so the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty will give the Raiders a free 15 yards. Not an automatic first, because the penalty doesn't start with the word roughing. But it puts the Raiders now on the 38-yard line. It will be 3rd down now, as Graham, stepping up looking for somewhere to go, will get a pass off at the very end. It is badly overthrown. Just trying to desperately get a pass off to that receiver on the far side of the field. It was Donovan DeLeon he was looking for. There was also a penalty as well. Sounds like the penalty will be against Fitchburg. It'll be a hold. And they will enforce it. Because at this point, they'd rather the Raiders not try something from 4th and 9. They'd rather them be backed up a little farther. So they'll back them up to the 28-yard line. So it all turns to 3rd and 19. Play action, throw over the middle, incomplete. Wanted Darnell Thomas, but was just a bit out of his reach. It's not the first time he's been thrown a ball that he couldn't haul in, but this time it was a little more of a tough ask. Look at it, just fakes the handoff to Barisano. He turns into a blocker. Might have also been tipped on the way. And Thomas able to get a hand on it, but nothing more than that. So this will bring McCloskey into punt. With some time, but some pressure there from McCarthy. So ends up being a line drive kick. And it'll bounce and roll a fairly decent distance for the Red Raiders. Looks like they will down it at the 32-yard line. 40-yard punt. And the Raiders will take that. So Westborough will have the ball here early in the 3rd quarter of play. 21 for the Red Raiders and 3 for the Rangers. A Cam Erickson field goal from 36 yards, the only score for the Rangers in the first 24 minutes of this contest. As the Red Raider defense has been stymieing today, holding Westborough to a little over 4 yards a play. Option to the far side, Ashton Worstel. We thought it'd be Worstel. I thought it was actually McCarthy taking it. There's also a penalty, but that was in the area of holding. The Red Raiders may have recovered this fumble here. So many things happening here. Thought Worstel had the option at the very end, but McCarthy took it out at the last moment, actually. McCarthy never handed it off, kept it, and then it looked like, as Richard Santana made contact, he lost a handle on the football. The penalty was, in fact, holding. It'll become irrelevant with the fumble. And that's a big gift for the Red Raiders. As McCarthy loses the ball for the 2nd time today, and the Red Raiders take advantage. So from the 34-yard line in Westborough territory, 1st down, Graham, play action, throw over the middle, that's gonna be caught! Devin Barisano, touchdown Red Raiders! A 34-yard touchdown strike. Barisano has his 3rd touchdown of the day, and it's 27-3. The handoff to Oquendo and the throw over the middle, and so open there was Barisano. Extra point is up and good for McCloskey. So 8:46 to go, third quarter of play, and the Red Raiders strike back, making Westborough pay dearly for their error. 28-3, Red Raiders in front. And another look at the extra point. Trying to block the best they can, but not happening there. So McCloskey will kick it off again. As the ball slipped out of the hands of Kevin McCarthy, the Red Raiders recovered, and it only took one play to strike for 7 more. And the Raiders lead by 25 points. If Westborough's not able to come up with a score on this drive, we're going to have to start talking about the potential mercy rule implications. We saw that last week with the Red Raiders against St. John's. And now bobbled there. Oh my goodness. It's all gone horribly wrong for Westborough. Ultimately, Steinberg able to recover that. But just makes things all the more complicated. He tries to catch that at the 18, just goes through his hands on the ground, tries to pick it up, falls through his hands again. See all the coverage coming in, collapsing on him, but Steinberg ends up on top of the football. A little over 3 minutes gone in the third quarter. Red Raiders lead by 25. As McCarthy out to the far side, and another penalty flag's gonna fly here. As he took it to about the 28-yard line, but we'll see how much of this will actually count. Looks like none of it. So hold against Westborough. That happened when McCarthy was at the 21-yard line. So we can give him the 21-yard line and then back him up 10 on the holding. Will remain first down, but now 17 to gain. As it's starting to sprinkle a little bit, the wind's been picking up. McCarthy dancing on his own goal line, gets that ball thrown away. We're still in the vicinity. Game time temperature was about 50 degrees in Westborough. Started out cloudy, maybe a little bit more sun as the game progressed. There was a small chance of sprinkles of precipitation. It looks like we're getting it there. Winnie Field, brand new field turf. It's only been in for about a couple of years now. They used to play on grass before that. I think they also got lights around the same time. Playing on this Saturday afternoon in Westborough. About 25 miles the crow flies from Crocker. Here's 2nd and 17, McCarthy floating it downfield, incomplete, looking for Josh Bebko, who is the backup quarterback for this Westborough side, but a bit overthrown. From my count, Bebko does not have any receptions in the season. He does have a couple of pass completions and a touchdown. I think those came in the first week against Tantascwa. Now 7:43 to go in the third quarter of play. Fitchburg in front 28-3. 266 yards of offense for the Red Raiders. Westborough still under 100. In fact, Fitchburg's conceded more penalty yards in this game, 85 for the Red Raiders. But Westborough unable to make them pay. Here's McCarthy. Again, throw over the middle. This is going to be caught. That's going to be Erickson making his way. Lose the football at the very end, but he was already down, and the ground was most to blame for that. Spotted at the 25-yard line. So Westborough trailing by 25 points. Got a 4th and 3 coming here. And if you're Joe Beveridge, it's probably worth going for it. Just because you're down by so many points. The reward, I think, is more than worth the risk at this juncture. You need points. You need a way to get yourself back into this contest. And seeing how explosive the Red Raiders' offense has been today, punting is probably not the answer. You can always try to draw them off. How many times have they jumped today? It's only 3 to gain. Not able to get them to jump, so they go for it. That dump off pass for Erickson's going to be good enough. Put it down at the 28-yard line. And it will be a first down for Westborough. They so needed that. Still 72 yards from goal. So we're approaching the halfway mark of the third quarter of play. The Red Raiders leading 28-3. On first down, McCarthy going to try to drive his way up the middle, taking it all the way. Just past the 35-yard line, they'll mark him down just short of the 37. They'll give him 9 on that one. Now under 5.5 to go in the third quarter of play. Even after factoring all the stops in the backfield for McCarthy, that'll get him back into positive yardage as Worstell will take it this time. Try to get to the far side. He wants to get to the numbers, find the space there. He gets the numbers. He doesn't get the space, and he's going to lose a few. Just running parallel to the 35, trying to get to the flank there. Santana ultimately there to wrap him up. Darnell Thomas also creating a lack of space there for him to run, so he had to go ever farther out to the numbers. We're still now on 47 yards on 8 carries from my count. Third down, 2 to go. Westborough 1 for 7 today on third down. They'll fake the pass on the handoff to Worstell, and he's not going to get back. Looks like one push did get him back to the line of scrimmage, but not much more than that. They will give him the 37. So it gets back the yard he lost on the previous play, but it's going to bring up another fourth down. So Westborough surely going to go for it again as we tick under 4 to go in the third quarter. And McCarthy running with it, being pursued, gets the pass off. Van Nest able to pull it in. It's going to come down to the spot in forward progress. That near side official standing at the 39-yard line. And that'll be good enough for a first. There's all that time. And he's able to get that pass off before 3 Raiders push him back there. Garcia and Padilla and McCary. It's been a pretty long drive for Westborough, over 5 minutes. And we'll have a whistle. Fitchburg's going to call time here. Didn't like what they saw. A little under 4 to go in the third quarter at Mawhinney Field. It's Westborough 3, Fitchburg 28. While we have a moment, we'd like to mention that in addition to our live streams on the internet, you can watch FATV programming in stunning high definition on the following streaming devices: Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Download our free app today on Apple TV and Fire TV. Search for FATV in the App Store. And on Roku, search for PEG.TV in the Roku App Store. And then within PEG.TV, search for FATV. So wherever you're joining us, whether it be on Apple TV, Fire TV, Roku, on Comcast, Channel 9, Verizon, Channel 36, or on the education stream at fatv.org, we're happy to have you along with us here today. 2:57 to go in the third quarter of play. Fitchburg leading 28-3. Nate Glennie on site at Mawhinney Field in Westborough, manning the camera and also giving us some time checks via text. Very helpful to keep us in tune with the time. And Matt Murdoch and Travis Falk doing things in the control room today for us, making sure to get us up and running and get this broadcast moving as smoothly as possible. Westborough, as we mentioned, they were 4-7 last year. Lost 3 in a row to open the season. Won back-to-back games against Grafton, North Middlesex, lost in Neshoba, beat Marlborough, lost to Fitchburg in overtime, then Leominster by a lot more, beat Maynard, and then lost to their Thanksgiving rival in Algonquin. And this year, 21-7 loss to Tantascwa, 14-7 loss to Neshoba, before winning 43-36 against Oakmont. Kevin McCarthy bouncing out to the far side. And if this stands, it will be a gain of 12 yards. But there was a penalty flag well back there. And they've got the box man moving back to the 39-yard line, which means that's probably going to be bad news for the Rangers. An illegal shift against the Rangers. We'll wipe out the play and mark them back 5. So second down, 15 to go. As McCarthy looking for time, lost the time, throws it on the ground. Adam Steinberg can't cleanly gather it. Incomplete it'll be, and even if it was complete, it wouldn't have gained very much at all. Just trying to take the time, and that ball goes on the ground. Steinberg could have hauled that one in. It would have been a gain of not very much. McCarthy, 8 for 17 through the air today. As you mentioned, last year he was primarily a fullback, and he ran for over 150 yards against this very Red Raider team, and got 2 touchdowns on the ground as well. This year, a quarterback, he's been able to run with it a little bit. Not a lot of yardage, though. McCarthy trying to throw this time. Long throw, complete to Worstel on the far sideline. And he's going to go all the way for a Ranger touchdown. And so Westborough does have their first touchdown of the contest. A big reception for Ashton Worstel. On what was at first a low snap there. McCarthy able to step up, get the throw off. Raider diving there, trying to knock it down, couldn't do so. And Worstel with the legs, carrying it all the way to the land of 6. And Westborough is going to go for 2 here. is what they've indicated. Trying to go for a scoregami, I think. 28-9. They put Erickson in motion. As McCarthy moving backwards. Now looking to see if he can find some space. He's got the space. Stumbling to the goal line. And he does get in there for two. 28-11. McCarthy had to run a whole lot more than 3 yards to get those points. So he rolls out to the left side under pressure, and you can see everything breaking up there. Cuts to the left at the very end, and just able to get enough. So it cuts the deficit to 17 points, 28-11. Not often that you'll see a high school game go to 11 points. But if there's one thing going against Westborough, it's that that drive took nearly 7 minutes. And so 1:55 to go in the third quarter, so 13 minutes, 55 seconds to go in the football game. It's still a 3-score game, 28-11. Now we've already seen Westborough on a couple of these kickoffs kick it really short. Should not be surprised if we see something resembling an onside kick here. Bounced into the ground trying to peg the up man. It's not the first time they've aimed for Jared Phillips. But he's going to get right on top of that one. Make no mistake. So just trying to peg the up man, that's a strategy you see sometimes as well on onside kicks. Just try to hit someone that you don't think is paying attention on that front line. Because you're thinking, oh, they're certainly going to kick it over my head. They're not going to kick it right at me. Doesn't help either if you've kicked it right at the guy who you kicked it at to end the first half of play. He's already seen you do that before. Phillips had to have been expecting it. And as Graham was tackled there, he's able to pitch it off to Oquendo, who's able to get a couple of yards. He fell on the football, though, and that's going to be painful. And a bit awkwardly as well. A desperation pitch out, and ultimately Oquendo able to pull it in. I hope Anthony's all right. We'll take a breather for a play at least. And now Padilla and Thomas move in motion to the near side. Barisano will have it all by himself, and Barisano making his way downfield past the 30, the 20, inside the 15 and down, just short of the 10-yard line. Devin Barisano runs with it. It seems like nothing's happening. He's going slowly, and then suddenly he accelerates, bursting through the line and dancing his way downfield. And well set up by the Raider line as well. A 39-yard run for Barisano. And they'll give him the 10. Make it goal to go. And Oquendo already back in the contest. Jesus Padilla to the left of Montgomery Graham. And they'll give it to Oquendo. With Padilla setting that block there. Oquendo staying on his feet, still on his feet. Puts it across the goal line. Touchdown, Red Raiders! Did at any point did that look like it was going to be a touchdown? but Anthony Aquendo stayed on his feet, stayed in bounds, and was somehow able to dive across and put it across the goal line for the touchdown. And Padilla setting a great block there. Look at him staying on his feet, staying in bounds, shaking off Erickson, and then as Bebko has him wrapped up, he's able to just reach across the goal line and put it down. Extra point is good for McCloskey, 35-11. And that is also three-quarter time as well. Look at the extra point, high up there, and good. And the official with the crossed arms outwards to indicate that there is no more time in the third quarter. So all of that work Westborough puts to get that touchdown, get themselves into double digits, and Fitchburg answers back just like that. Didn't take nearly as long for the Red Raiders to answer back. It's that two-headed beast in the backfield, Devin Barisano and Anthony Aquendo. Aquendo over 100 yards on the ground today. Barisano has 148 on the ground with 2 touchdowns, plus that 34-yard catch. Nice performance there. They'll bring us through the third quarter break. Meanwhile, Westborough wants to answer back. A nice return there by Ashton Worstell. They'll bring it to the 39-yard line. It's hauled in at the 15 there, a 24-yard return for Worstell on the 45-yard kickoff by McCloskey. Now Westborough with about a quarter to work with, but they trail by 24. Westborough now up to 176 yards of offense on the day, as the handoff is for a lot of things happening there. So Worstell able to take the handoff and then cut right up the middle. So there was the handoff and then made a cut move that was just too hot for television. Ultimately worth a gain of a few. Got the box at the 44-yard line. We reach 11 minutes to go. And that throw over the middle. Lots of pressure there, but flags coming in. They wanted Erickson, but the flag coming in. 2 flags from different referees in different directions. Fitchburg will be called for pass interference. They were also called for a defensive hold as well. The pass interference will do more damage, as it will put the ball all the way down at the 42-yard line. 15-yard penalty, and that brings the Raiders to 100 yards of penalties today. As McCarthy on first down tries to pitch that off. That was ultimately ruled a forward pass. I think, yeah, the ball came out forwards there to Steinberg. You see, just went forward a little bit, which gave them a bit of grace to work with. So that even though Steinberg wasn't able to haul in the pitch because it had gone forwards, it's an incomplete pass, as opposed to what could have been something more disastrous. Be 2nd and 10. And on the option, McCarthy keeps it himself, making his way up the middle, up the left side, hash marks, into the 25-yard line. A first down for Westborough. Him just pull the ball out of Steinberg's hands at the last moment and keep it himself. And McCarthy's been pretty good at doing that with the options. I know I have to take an extra moment to ensure that McCarthy's really given the ball off there. And this time Worstell spinning his way up the middle, trying to break out of another tackle, makes his way to the 15-yard line. No, Steinberg that time. 11-yard gain for Adam Steinberg, the junior running back. Reaching 9 minutes to go in the 4th quarter of play. So from the 15-yard line, it will be McCarthy. His progress stopped right there by Jesus Padilla. Just tried to make his way up the middle, but Padilla there to meet him. Padilla last year had 33 tackles and 8.5 sacks. Always lurking on defense for the red and gray. Nothing gained on first down for the Rangers, so 2nd and 10 it'll be. This time it was Worstell having it, and Angel Alejandro will have none of it. So Alejandro actually just gets a piece of him, and that's enough to knock him off balance, and Worstell. It's a loss of 2. Brings up 3rd and 12. They've got to get to the 5 for a first, and Westborough is 1 for 8 on 3rd down today. 7.5 to go in the game. Rangers trail by 24. As with plenty of time is McCarthy. That's intercepted! Right to Jesus Padilla. A disastrous throw. That's the 3rd turnover for McCarthy today. And if it wasn't over before, it very well may be now. So he wanted Worstell there at the 10, but Padilla just goes right in front of it as if it was intended for him the whole time. Bring it back to the 19-yard line. About 7 minutes to go in the game. On first down, Anthony Aquendo will take it for some more yards. Aquendo will take it to the 26. On second down, Oquendo again. Another run up the middle to the left hashes. He's going to get enough for a first that time, as he brought it across the 30 to the 33. I know Joe Beveridge was telling the TNG that one of the challenges for this team is just how undersized they are, and that strategies that they used in their first two games weren't working. And Kevin McCarthy was well beyond the line of scrimmage when that play started. The Raiders will take a free 5. Eighth penalty against the Rangers today for 55 yards. Fitchburg 11 for 100. Those are accepted penalties. McCarthy, you could just see he sort of lost the depth of space. He thought he was still on his own half of the field. And we have another whistle here. And offsides against Westborough again. Fitchburg did that earlier this game, committing back-to-back offsides to give Westborough a first down, and now Westborough's gone and done just that. But the Red Raiders will happily take the free yards. Just trying the timing there, and I think maybe McCarthy was just beyond the line of scrimmage when the ball was snapped. Didn't time it right. Not going to try that this time. As that run to the left hash marks. Barisano again. Raiders not going to the bench here. Happy to get some more work there for Oquendo and Barisano. As Graham was going in motion on that one, Arpano taking the snap. The Raiders become more comfortable changing things up and giving Arpano snaps and letting Graham try to roll out as a receiver, try his luck there. Four-yard gain on first down there for Barisano. And Graham will come in motion again. Arpano to take the snap. And this time they'll throw it out to Graham. He'll make the catch. And Graham will make his way past midfield for a first down. It's a bit of fun when you can see them do those trick plays, basically, where you have your starting quarterback line up as a receiver. That's the second completion there for Graham today. And second completion for Arpano. Now 21 yards. In fact, both of Arpano's completions have been to Graham. We also saw Padilla line up in the backfield to take a snap earlier in this contest. And now another throw out to the far side flat there for Graham. Loses the football, but he already stepped out of bounds by that point. So it'll be completion for 3 yards there. If he had not stepped out, it would have been Westborough's ball there. The Red Raiders continuing to keep the clock moving, up by 24 points. Well on their way to go into 3-1. Arpano will hand off to Oquendo. Oquendo's going to find some space. Burst down the right side hashes. And inside the 35-yard line he'll go. Taekwondo just taking a moment, surveying his options, seeing if any opportunities will open up ahead. And then he puts on the Jets. Gets 10 yards on that one and another first down for the Red Raiders. They'll keep their eyes on that back referee, wait for him to put his hand up, or seem like he'll be ready to put his hand up. When he does, then you'll know there's 10 seconds left on the play clock. And now you see him put his hand up there, signaling 10 seconds. And as he gestures to 5, Arpano will drop back, throw over the middle, and that's intercepted. He wanted Darnell Thomas. He found Declan Van Nest instead. And Westborough will happily take the takeaway. There's also a flag coming in at the very end here. It's unsportsmanlike conduct against the Red Raiders. So 1:59 to go in the contest. Westborough will have a solid chance of getting a couple more points on the board. And McCarthy going to try to sell out for Van Nest here. Van Nest is going to have that. Walk the tightrope a little bit and step out of bounds just short of the 25-yard line. See plenty of time there. Just weren't quite able to track him well enough on defense. A big gain there on the pass to Van Nest. His 4th reception of the day. Give him the 32-yard line. Slightly low snap, and McCarthy will be able to pick that up, move to his left, flip that over for Worstel, but a bit too strong. Miguel Torres in the area, so is Giovanni DiCarlo. Raiders seem to be working a little more on the pass protection schemes. Haven't been rushing too hard on McCarthy on this drive. About a minute to go in this contest. Fitchburg with a comfortable 35-11 lead. Westborough just trying to get one more strike in. It'll be Worstel out to the numbers. Inside the 30. Not going to get much farther than that as he'll be wrapped up in bounds. At the 28. Forming the option there and seeing Hayden Paul coming in on that. Couldn't take the chance of running with it himself, so he gave it off to Worstel. Able to get 4. Now flipped up to Worstel on the far side, staying on his feet, still going at the 15-yard line, and finally wrapped up. Garcia and Rojas there for the Red Raiders. $13-yard gain there. And another first down for Westborough. They're at 255 yards of offense today. Fitchburg at 356. But now in the final minute of this contest, and Westborough will call a timeout. They really do want to get points on the board to finish this game, try to get out on a high note here. 41 seconds left. as the Red Raiders up 35-11. Each team with one more contest left. The Red Raiders will be playing Oakmont next week. 6 o'clock start up at the Ashburnham-Westminster line. And for Westborough, their final contest of the season will be on Thursday the 22nd, just a few days less rest, as they'll be taking on their Thanksgiving rival in Algonquin. The 6 o'clock start. The Tomahawks are 0-4. So Westborough hoping to finish the campaign on a high note there. Westborough last week picking up their first win in the Joe Beveridge era. Beveridge, the former head coach at Tantascwa, was there for 4 years. Has been teaching at Tantascwa for a little over a decade. It's interesting, starting the season against Tantascwa, I joked that a couple of the players on the Tantascwa team are students that Beveridge teaches in PE. It's interesting seeing him on the opposition sideline there, coaching for Westborough. Here's a deep pass into the end zone that's incomplete, but a flag comes in. The Raiders not happy about that. Floated up incomplete, but perhaps incomplete for a reason. Raiders have already been called for defensive pass interference twice in this contest. It'll be a defensive hold this time. So put the ball now at the 5-yard line. And McCarthy has trouble with the snap this time, recovering the football, but just like that, he loses the 10 yards gained on the penalty. And Westborough, again, they would really like to score to close out this game. So they'll call a timeout here. 24 seconds remain in this contest. And a 2nd and 20 upcoming here for Westborough. 2nd and goal, really, is what it should be. 2nd and 20 is what you get when you try to read your stat logger. It doesn't really care about the goal-to-go situation. But 35-11, Fitchburg in front. Fitchburg with 356 yards of offense, 245 now for Westborough. 22 penalties between them, though. Westborough 9 for 60 in accepted penalties. Fitchburg 13 for 125, about as bad as last week. But Westborough has struggled to take advantage of some of these. And of course, some turnovers as well have doomed the Rangers. They've turned it over 3 times today. A lot of which deep in territory as well. So a lot of yards going for naught. McCarthy looking to the end zone, tipped up and incomplete. It's Monty Graham getting in on it, along with Alex Rojas. Great pass rush there. Looking for Worstel. So 3rd and goal it's now. 14 seconds left, not surprising if they keep going for the air here. Looking for 15 yards. Westborough just trying to finish this game on a high note, as they'll be falling to 1-3 on the campaign. And Fitchburg with an excellent bounce-back game after getting rocked by St. John's last week. They're now doing the same to the Rangers. And a double reverse. Steinberg going to throw. That's going to be tipped up in the air and nearly picked. Trying to throw it back to McCarthy there. Tried the trickeration. Now bring up a 4th and goal. What may very well be the last play of the game for the Westborough offense. An unsportsmanlike conduct penalty has been assessed to the Red Raiders. So Westborough's last play is going to be a bit closer to home. So from the 8-yard line it's going to be not an auto first, because unsportsmanlike conduct still doesn't start with the word roughing. So here's very much the last play of the game. McCarthy could run with it if he wants, but he's not going to find any space to work with. Pulled out of bounds by Miguel Torres. That should bring it into the game as the Red Raiders bounce back in style with a 24-point victory, 35-11. Even with the unsportsmanlike conduct at the end, giving the Rangers 7 free yards in the end, McCarthy loses those 7 yards. And the Raiders defense stands stout at the very end as they take this one by 24 points, their most convincing victory of the season, and against a Westborough team that has given them fits over the years. As we mentioned, these two teams played each other each of the last 4 years. Westborough won the first 3 meetings. Fitchburg won last year in overtime in what was a dramatic contest. And this year, this game, much more dominant for the Red Raiders, as they took control from the very beginning. Big runs, big plays for the Red and Gray to come away with a big victory to get them to 3-1 on the season. So we'll go over the final stats here. Westborough finishes with 238 yards of offense. It's Fitchburg 356 yards of offense. For the Red Raiders, 272 through the air, through the ground game, 84 through the air. Westborough 68 through the ground game, 170 through the air. They found more success with the passing game. McCarthy was 11 for 24 for 170 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Also credited with 13 carries for 4 yards once you take into account all those losses. His favorite receiver was Ashton Worstel, 4 catches for 88 yards and a touchdown, also 12 carries for 54 yards. Declan Van Nest also had 4 catches for 54 yards. Cam Erickson 3 for 28 and that 36-yard field goal, and Adam Steinberg 1 reception for 10 yards. For the Red Raiders, Montgomery Graham 2 of 5 through the air for 60 yards. Both those receptions were touchdowns, interestingly enough. Credited 3 carries for -6, 3 catches for 24 though. All of those thrown by Philip Arpano, who also threw one to Declan Van Ness on the other side, so 1 interception there. Devin Barisano, though, had a heck of a game. 9 carries for 152 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also had a catch for 34 yards and a touchdown. Anthony Aquendo, 8 carries, 126 yards and a touchdown. And Xavier McCary, way back at the beginning of this game, had the opening score and a 26-yard touchdown catch. That opened the scoring, and from there, the Red Raiders able to rack off 21 in a row. Westborough with a field goal, and then Fitchburg 14 in the second half. Westborough answering with 8 of their own. Don't know if 35-11 is a MIAA football scoregami, but that can't be a very common score. The Rangers go to 1-3 on the season. The Red Raiders to 3-1. I want to thank our underwriters who make all of our remote productions possible here at FATV. They are Workers Credit Union, Rollstone Bank and Trust, UMass Memorial Health Alliance, Clinton Hospital, North End Subaru, Unitil, Research Results, Minuteman Press, Mart, and the Sentinel in Enterprise. We thank them for all the work they do to help make our remote productions possible. So again, next game for the Red Raiders will be on Friday the 23rd, taking on Oakmont, 6 o'clock start from Hurd Memorial Field at the Ashburnham-Westminster line. And as for Algonquin, let's see, Westborough will be taking on Algonquin. So I got thrown off there for a moment. That'll be on Thursday, as Westborough will try to finish the season with a win against their Thanksgiving rival, even though they just have to settle for, I guess, the last Thursday of the Fall 2 season as opposed to the last Thursday of the fall season. But a great game, a great bounce back for the Red Raiders. As we saw last week, they had a lot of trouble dealing with the size of St. John's, but I think this week the shoe was on the other foot. Westborough had a lot of trouble dealing with the size of Fitchburg, and the Red Raiders were able to take advantage of that mismatch and able to dominate. Again, 356 yards of offense, one of their best performances of the season, rivaling the game against Hingham. It was just really nice to see the offense clicking on all cylinders for the Red and Gray as they'll go to 3-1 on the season. But I think for us today, that's going to do it here from the Workers Credit Union Studios at FATV. So for Travis Falk and Matt Murdoka working in the control room, and for Nate Glennie on site at Mawhinney Field in Westborough, I'm Daniel Bolak saying thank you for tuning in, and we hope to see you next time. And until then, so long from Fitchburg.